If you don't understand your numbers as a builder, your business could be bleeding money. You could be leaving hundreds of thousands on the table and you may not even know it. And your accountant may not know it either. Now, I've seen builders turning over millions every year, but they keep personally next to nothing. They're busy, they're booked out, millions coming through in turnover, but they're still broke. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that. And we're going to start off with your profit and loss in Xero. You're going to see the one mistake that completely wrecks your gross profit, and we're going to show you how to correct it. And we're also going to show you how to never be surprised by a corporation tax bill again, so your accounts finally tell you the truth. By the end of this, you're going to understand your numbers better than most accountants, and you'll keep more of what you're going to earn. Now, first of all, let's just face the reality here that most builders think that profit is what's left in the bank. And it's not. You know, if you don't first of all know the difference between your profitability, and we're talking about gross profit and net profit, then you're really flying blind. I see builders doing 1, 2, 3 million a year who still can't pay themselves properly. And it's not because they're bad at building or, bad tradespeople. It's because they're running their projects with no financial visibility. Money's coming in, but there's no control. It's leaking everywhere. They're losing it on their wages, they're losing it on materials, on rework. It slips through your fingers before you even see it. But the problem is you don't realize it because you're not getting it smacked right in your face because you don't see the numbers clearly. And the biggest problem is that people are misclassifying costs, and accountants are sometimes the worst for this. They'll put the costs in the wrong place. So what we see, this happens all the time. I'll get a client to send me through their P&L report, and when I'm looking at it, I can see that they've got labor in the wrong place or materials in the wrong place. They're sitting in their overheads and instead of sitting in their cost of sale. Now, that one small error that often the accountant makes, it makes your gross profit look higher than it really is, so it lulls you into a false sense of security. You think you're pricing jobs the right way. You think, I'm making 30% gross profit margins, I'm pricing a really healthy rate, but in reality you could be at 10, 15%, and that false sense of profitability can keep you completely stuck. And if you're the builder that's sitting there going, why haven't I made any money? My accountant says I was doing all right, but actually now I'm not, then this video is exactly for you. So I'm going to show you how to take control. And the first thing you've got to take control of, the accountant isn't always the problem. Sometimes they are, but it isn't always the problem. It's your dependence on the accountant that's the problem. Yes, they're there to file reports, but they're not there to run your business. So you need to know personally how to read and how to adjust your profit and loss, so you're never waiting on some bookkeeper or accountant to tell you how healthy your business is. Now, we don't want you to become an accountant here. We're just going to keep this nice and simple, but we just want you to become a financially smart builder who's making strategic decisions because you understand your numbers. So we're going to jump into Xero. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to show you three things first of all. I'm going to show you how to move your costs and make sure they're in the right place. We're going to show you how to get a real accurate gross profit figure. And then I'm going to show you how to do a special corporation tax journal so you're never surprised by a huge tax bill at the end of the year ever again. So let me just share my screen and just bear with me as we go through this. So the first thing we have to do is show you how to get your P&L report. So I've already loaded that up, but if you are in Xero on the home screen, you're simply going to click on reporting, and then you're going to click on profit and loss. So that's right on the home screen, reporting, profit and loss, and then you'll get taken to a screen like this. Now, as we look through this, we might think as a builder, okay, I've turned over £59,000 this month, but I've got my cost of sale at 33. I've spent 26 and I'm left with 33,000. So the first thing is, how do we know whether that's good or bad? We need to turn that into a percentage. Now, as you know, I'm often talking about builders who are making 25, 30% gross profit. That's a great thing to go for. What is this builder making? Well, the way to find out is on your Xero, you click more, and then you click percentage of turnover, and then you update it. And this builder is making 56% gross profit. So a builder will look at that, and they may get this report from their accountant and think, pricing my jobs the right way, I'm delivering them nice and efficiently because I've got 56% gross profit. That is really healthy. And if I saw this, I would say, yeah, this builder's doing exceptionally well. But this is where we've got a problem. As we scroll down and we start looking at the overhead costs of the business, like your advertising and marketing and your vans and your bank fees and all of that. What do we spot down here? Well, first of all, we see this section here. It says cost of goods sold. This is in the wrong place. This 23,000 should be up the top here under cost of sales. So yours might be labeled something different. Yours might say subcontractors, or it might say materials or equipment hire. It's going to be something that's related to the delivery of a project. And I see it time and time again where it's put in the overhead column, which means that your gross profit figure is completely inaccurate. So how do we change that? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to go down to the edit layout section of Xero, and that is in the bottom corner. Now, you can't actually see it on my screen, actually, from what I'm sharing for some reason. Let me see if I can. I'm not sure I can show you that. No, it's not going to show you it there. So I can't show you that edit layout column. But anyway, trust me, it's in the bottom left-hand corner, just underneath this bit here. So edit layout. And when we go to edit layout, you're going to notice the column that you wanted moved. So the cost of goods sold is down here. We're going to drag that and we're going to move it up to the cost of sale underneath that section. So now it's sitting under the cost of sale. I'm just going to update the layout in the top right. And now we have our profit and loss report, which is more accurate. Now we've got the cost of goods sold in the right place, along with our purchases, and now our overheads are the right place. So you've really got to check your report and just make sure everything's in the right place. What we do notice now, though, is that this builder is actually only making 17.53% gross profit, so that's not good. Now he's underpricing work, or he's taking too long to deliver, and now he's got a problem that he needs to fix, but at least he knows now, which he never did before. So that's the first thing. You can easily edit the layout and move costs around. So you need to understand that. The second thing we want to do, so that's how you fix your Xero, and that's how you understand your gross profit. So we've solved 2 out of the 3 things we said we were going to fix. The third problem with a financial report is oftentimes when you scroll to the bottom, it will tell you your operating profit. So in this case, this builder's actually making a loss, but let's hope that you're in profit. And then you've got profit on ordinary activities before tax, and then we've got profit after tax. Now, what you'll notice here is that these figures are all exactly the same, and we haven't actually got a profit after tax figure. And we see this all the time. Again, accountants don't give their clients the profit after tax figure. You want to know how much profit you got left after the tax bill, not before, because you need to know how much tax you need to put away. So the way we do that is we need to create what's called a manual journal. So when you scroll up to the top in Xero, you can click on accounting, and you can click on manual journal there. Now this is a little bit advanced, so I'm going to show you how to do it, but really you just want to tell your accountant to do this every month. So what a manual journal does, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's imagine that this builder was not 24,000 in loss, but let's say he was 24,000 in profit for the end of that month. So we go up to the manual journal. Here's the manual journal page. As you can see here, I've got ChatGPT on the side that's just telling me how to do this because I couldn't remember how you do it. But let's say this builder was we said he was 25,000 in profit. Now let's say you're in, well, the UK and Australia, the same. Corporation tax is 25%. So if you had £24,000 times 25%, he would have a £6,000 or dollar tax bill that month. So you go corporation tax, you put it in the corporation tax account, and it's £6,000. Then we've got corporation tax here. We then click on this account, the provision for corporation tax account, and we credit it by 6,000. So this is how you do a manual journal. What we're basically saying to happen here is that we want the P&L report to show a debit of £6,000, and we then want to put on the balance sheet a credit of £6,000, so we know that that is owed. When we post this, posted that manual journal. Now hopefully if we go back to Xero and update it, I'm hoping it's going to sit there. We can see where it's sitting. It's actually sitting up here. See that? Corporation tax, £6,000. It's sitting in the wrong place, but it is up there. So now we've got to edit layout again. So we go to the edit layout. Corporation tax was sitting up there, so we're going to move that down because it shouldn't be sitting at the top of the P&L. We're going to move it all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to put it after the profit we're going to put it on the taxation figure, update the layout. Hopefully you're following along with this, but you can get ChatGPT to talk you through it if you're unsure. Now we've got it right at the bottom here. So you can see you've got your profit, and then you've got your taxation, and then it will tell you how much you've got left after tax. Now, because this builder is in debt, then he's not actually in profit here anyway, so you wouldn't have actually had a corporation tax account, but you can see the principle of how that works. So now you've got a corporation tax bill that you know you need to take off. It will tell you your true profitability, what's left in the business, and on your balance sheet, you're going to have an accurate amount for your corporation tax that you can check in and look at all the way through the year. So you've got your accurate corporation tax amount to pay. So we've solved three things here. We've shown you how to get on top of your gross profit figure so you understand it. And oftentimes it's because costs are misclassified. So you need to reclassify those costs, check the cost for materials, labor, subcontractors, things like that, and not sitting in your overheads column. That's the first thing, and then move them. So we've shown you how to move them, or get your accountant to move them. The second thing you're looking for is what is the gross profit amount you're actually making. So we showed you how to do that in Xero by clicking percentage of turnover, and then you can see that clearly. So that's important, or ask your accountant to tell you what that figure is. And then we showed you how to make sure that you're accounting for your corporation tax every single month. Make sure you put a manual journal in, calculate how much tax needs to be paid on the profit at the end of the month, and then that will show you how much you need to pay every month, and that will accumulate throughout the year. So you've always got a figure there on your balance sheet of what's owed for corporation tax. If you can just do those three things, you're going to be 10 times better than most builders who don't actually understand their numbers. And when you understand your numbers like that, you can take control of your finances and scale your business the right way. So I hope you found that useful. If you've got any questions or comments, leave it below. All the best.